Um, and then here's another interesting topic that a lot of people don't really dig into too, but a balance between your left brain and right brain. And I don't know if you guys don't understand what that means. Like your left side of your brain is the brain that is the portion that's going to be like when you see a target, you're just focused on headshot. You know what I mean? Like that's left side left brain thinking, because you're just like like just snap to that. You zone everything else out and you just like aim, you know. So and then right brain thinking would come from like your macro or movement or positioning that like can influence whether a target can be like someone's gonna want to take that shot or go after you or continue to, maybe they can't hit you anymore because you've created a new angle. That's more right brain, larger picture, more free flowing kind of like stuff like that, you know. But it's been really fun trying like understanding the balance of that and becoming like just a good healthy medium of both, because I think I tend to lean a little bit more onto the right brain, but I can tap into that left side and just make and hit a really good shot when I know that, when I feel that my environment is comfortable and controlled and I know what's going on, you know what I mean? And so there's been a balance of like doing better in those scenarios, and then identifying in the game when I need to stop thinking about the rest of the freaking map and just aim. You know, like making that toggle and that switch like really quickly is really cool. I enjoy that as the player, because I think that it's it's enjoyable. It's like it's a mental activity to like improve me as a human being to be able to identify and toggle and switch between those two. You know what I mean? You're very knowledgeable of a lot of things. Thank you, man. Yeah, I've been playing video games competitively for 20 years, and I've seen a lot. I've played with the world's greatest players. Like I wouldn't say, there's so many good ones now, but I've definitely played with a lot of high caliber players in the past, and that's been so enjoyable to be around. And I spent a lot of time exploring the game and functionalities and stuff like that. Like back when I was playing, when I was first getting into competitive Halo, um, Halo 2 didn't have a theater system. Halo 3 did, and I spent a massive amount of time in the theater system in Halo 3, and almost more so in Halo Reach. Um, but because and I would analyze so many different things. Like if I got a spawn point and somebody else got the same spawn point, I would like do it very like variable, like okay, we got the same spawn point. What decision did I make? What decision did this guy make? How did that work out for them? Why did it work out for them? Did the other player capitalize on everything that they could have capitalized on? And then I just kept like going to all that kind of stuff. And then when it got really fun when I started to get into games with like other pro players and scrims and stuff like that for that kind of stuff, and then go look at their decisions versus my decisions, and then I remember those moments. There was like a spark when I was like, dude, I did this cleaner than someone that I had been looking up to for X amount of time or whatever, or someone who has X amount of reputation or supposed to be, whatever. And I thought that was neat. Um, Granted, that's one level of the stuff. Now you have like so many other factors and stuff like that, and yeah, this I don't know, it's just really cool. Like, I like this kind of stuff. I like talking about it. I like exploring it. And I like uh, learning. Like I'll go for today. I played a ranked match on Viper. I very played very few games on her. Um, Here I can show you actually, but in the match, I was messing around with some different walls, and I came across one that I really like. Um, I'll show you on split. This is a really good one to know. So if you're a Viper player, I think you're gonna really like what I'm about to show you.
No one can hold their breath forever.
How you doing now?
Let's take from them what they took from me. Everything.
I'd like to be on. Oh, I could have put myself there, but it's okay. I wish you could on the cheats. You could skip this.
My ultimate is ready.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pause the wait for this to start, and then I'll pause the timer. I wish you could switch characters while you're in here too, cause like I can't do that. That'd be really nice. What does that do? Oh, you can toggle ghost, I guess. Yeah, let me pause match timer. Okay, so first thing we can talk about map structure here really quickly. This map doesn't necessarily, it's not as easy to see it as an overhead view, but if you were to draw a triangle from probably about here all the way out this way, like out to here, and then another one out to down to here, that's the structure, the strength of angles in this. So that applies all the way across the map, and I'll do this in another video, but what I found interesting is so that means that when you're on a side like this, you're gonna have more strength to move across in some ways, and that applies to your abilities as well. So if you try to do what I'm telling you from over on this side, on C side, you're not. There's going to be obstructions through buildings or line of sight, and things that don't allow you to get as quality of an angle, and and you can apply this to just about every map. But this, what I'm about to particularly show you, has me very intrigued to try this on other maps, because if this design is consistent with like a design goal that they had in mind when they were building these maps, then it should be consistent across the across everything. Because this is applicable to all three maps that are in here. You're gonna have longer, larger line of sight from A, but it also can mean safer stuff. So like for instance, if you're here behind this pillar on B, you have this line of sight. Help. Like from here, you have heaven.
On my way.
You have here, you have here, you have here. Like even closer. These are two different angles in a way. Like you have that, but then you have. Actually, this is probably technically the same, but they can be here tight or far. You know, so that like when you swing, you don't have. It's difficult to absorb that information and then aim. Like, you know what I mean? If someone has a line of sight on you here, you swing to this corner, you have to check here or here, you know, different scenario. But it's you can see how that can like really mess you up. And then you also you could be being pushed from other sides. When you have something like this, you have here, and you see how long that is. You can cut off this angle. Like you can look here. And then you can swing to here, and now you can see here, and then you can cut here off by moving here, and it's like it's a lot more safer stuff. That doesn't mean that it's better to go A all the time, but it's just something to start running your through your brain. And another thing so every side on down the middle, if you're gonna play mid side of A, should technically be a stronger angle than mid side of B. So and that's applicable all the way across maps as well. You just kind of have to toy with it a little bit and see what it is. Like on Haven, if you're gonna peek, yeah, this is a really in-depth thing. There's a lot that you have to really pay attention to and be careful. But
Here.
this little spot here has a stronger line of
Here.
sight on here and
Here.
here, even though these are two like they're this is
Here.
really the angle, but then you have
Here.
here to here.
Here.
But if you go from
Here.
here to there,
Here.
you're this whole corner, like right
Here.
here, is can be chewed through like
Here.
really pretty easily. And same thing with
Here.
this one. So this angle is a lot wider than it actually appears to be in some ways. Um, and they can spray you
Here.
through the box. You can spray through the box too, so it's a little bit up in the air. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different variables here to talk about because you have so many different situations running at multiple times. Whether it's one person, two people, a bunch of people. How strong are you trying to peak? Should you be trying to peak that strong? You know what I mean? Etc. Like timing of the game. Okay, so let me get into showing you what I initially came in here to show you. Also, here's another example that's really easier to understand. If you're ever going to
Here.
try to go
Here.
B garage and through B, and you
Here.
go and you reach this point right here, now you've got
Here.
heaven,
Here.
bottom rope there, bottom
Here.
rope there, bottom rope there, bottom
Here.
rope there, heaven, 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 top
Here.
box, finally off line of sight. Here, back B, this whole line, like it's not
Here.
pinging it, but so, and that's just all that can see clear line of sight on this right as you exit the garage. So can you see how like there's this convergence of like a million different angles that potentially could come out, and it's not good or bad, it's just you need to be aware of it, because if you do get your team into B and they
Here.
get control of these two
Here.
choke points,
Here.
these three choke points cut off B really well. You see these three? So that's why when you get into B, you don't really want to just sit there on B, because then you've got
Here.
all these angles to have to worry about. Now, sometimes like this is all situational too, because like sometimes there's not enough time to rotate. Sometimes they already have full control, and that you just got to deal with what you got. Other times you could try to, get
Here.
if you're early, like ahead of the bomb site guy, you can try to start a push into here and then slow
Here.
walk from here.
Here.
Maybe block this off.
Here.
If you're a sage, that's a good wall, right here, because now you've stopped their CT rotation, and what you've done is if they try to rotate through CT, guess what? They come all the way here. They're like, oh, there's a wall. They either shoot it, make a bunch of noise, you know about it. Go over it, make a bunch of noise, and you could potentially hear it. If they time it with a lot of gunfire, you may miss it. Whatever. That's they do this big wraparound back to the other way. But so my point is just really like demonstrating where these choke points are. That's how you control B, is you cut that off. So that's an interesting point about it. But that also is why like it's difficult to retake B if the enemy team gets it in a proper amount of time, because there's so many little places to be hiding within here. They may not always feel like the strongest angle, but as someone approaching this, you have to be careful here, like hiding in the corner, far wide out, line down behind the box, underneath heaven on the zip, underneath heaven on the zip, underneath heaven on the zip, like on this corner. That's three different angles in this corner. All of that takes time to sweep through. You've got here, you've got here, you've got here. These are three different positions to be played. You have this top box. You have hiding inside garage. You have behind the pillar close, behind the pillar far. Those are different shots. You have like back right corner, up close hiding, like here and behind the box. These are all the different lines that as someone coming from B mid have to look at. So that's why it's very difficult to retake B if you lose it. It's not necessarily difficult. There's just a lot that you have to scan, and maybe it is technically difficult, but it's difficult to do within the time frame of a bomb plant. So like once the spike is down, the time is not working on your side anymore. You know what I mean? So you want to like you want to stack towards towards B and mid as much as you can, and play for like maybe one
Here.
player on A like this, because if he peeks, if
Here.
he's right on here on the balcony, he can see this sliver, and through that sliver, he'll know if someone crosses. And if they smoke it, if they start using other abilities, then you can start to rotate accordingly. Someone out of mid from someone from here can rotate around, in different timing manners. But this is a safe line to start on if you're gonna play A. It's very passive, but if you're like solo holding, it's pretty good because you have escape routes here. You have a back of tower. You can then wrap around, go deeper into A. You can move up to ramp if you want to challenge. You can hide behind this wall. You can get up behind this box. You can get in tight here if you want. You can sit back in the tower here if you want. You can sit here if you think they're going to push. If you really think they have full control and you got to wait for your team, you can go back to CT and hide that corner and wait for like a retake. So there's all kinds of options that you have as a hard push, You don't have to necessarily face it straight on. How long did it take you to learn all this? This is an accumulation of 20 years of gaming together, like at a competitive and professional level. So it's just mixed with some of the other stuff that I said before. I mean, yeah, I've worked as a competitive design analyst at Epic Games, so that really helped me a lot. Like that really gave me the look behind the wall of how video games are made and what the mindset of designers and development is, and what's healthy for a game, and what are the things that designers try to leave you breadcrumbs for you to pick up and piece together and play their game with, So there's visual cues on things. Like when I saw this, I was like, this is here for something, and it is. I mean, you can make plays out of it out of the back. You can make it plays out here like this. It's like there's all kinds of little scattered hints and tips and ways that you like little lines over buildings and all kinds of visual cues, like I said, and all kinds of stuff. So this is what I was originally going to show you. That's a deeper question, Matt, because it's very situational. So. Yeah. I would rather run down a scenario where I have an overhead camera and I can rewatch something like in a theater mode. I can answer those kind of questions more because it's very situational. So check this out. Let's see if it'll show me. Let's go ahead and just pull up the map here. Look at this line of sight that you can cut off here. There's maybe a better way to get it precisely, or whatever. I'm just talking big picture here. You get to slice the zip line off, and that's one of the highest contested things. So we just had that big discussion about how it's difficult for the other team to retake B once you've taken it. If you can slice the heaven off, or so at the start of a round, I would do something like this. I actually did it in the last game that I played Viper on this map. I just kind of discovered it. The other interesting thing about this, and this is really cool, is that if you just decide to do this, you may feel like, oh, I'm going to be late to grouping with my team. Now, I think a lot of teams are putting too much pressure. This is a little bit more high end, but you're going to see this. It's still great to know because high end stuff is applicable, like down in the lower brackets as well. But you may not get as much value out of it as you would like. So, but the cool thing about this is, let's say start of the round, because it's Viper Wall, you can't place over the barriers, right? You have to wait for the round to start. You place this down, don't pop it up right away. This is like more of a coordinated type thing where you do this like pro. I'm just gonna assume pro level. You're gonna put this down, and then you can use other coordinations on top of it. But as you rotate back around through this spawn, guess what? You have put yourself in a good timing window if someone decided to push garage. So what would catch them off more than someone just popping out from their own spawn? Like, they're going to be like, what are you doing back there, man? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be super upset. You've got this line here. You've got a little tire here that I wouldn't necessarily jump onto right away. I would personally play like closer, like right in here. But there's so many different little adaptations to this based on different weapons that you have and different line of sights that you want and different timing windows that you have too. So there's all kinds of cool little things here. But that's a really interesting point, and we started the round. So if I don't know, it just puts you in a nice time to where you're going to be here in case someone tried to really creep in. Now there's a little variation to that, but it's pretty cool. So I mean, look, this is what you get to work with. It's something like this. That makes for a great. That allows you to get some breathing room in this push. You can hug on this. You can get more people to slide out, and you can like start to really pressure this angle from different points. Because if this guy's sitting here, this wall's paper pretty much, like right on the edge, and most importantly, this one, this is all thin. So you can attack from here, up close, mid-range, this box. You can like swarm this as a group and spray this down if you really wanted to. And at a higher level, I don't anticipate players to necessarily challenge this far out early in the round because of the risk of doing so. But still gaining control of it would be really, really good to do within this window. Now, if you have a Sage as well, then you can use that time to get in close and wall this off if you want, or you can use some other type of utility to kind of guarantee that this guy can't just sit here and spray, or you can spray it into it too. I don't know. There's all kinds of it's just a good wall. Yeah, I've seen that too, where you can get to heaven from that line of sight. I don't have a way to reset my wall, but the other line that also comes from that box goes from this box to somehow over this. It touches, it blocks here, and then you can get it up on the rafters as well. So you can get it mid-ramp. I think they can see over it just a little bit, but it's still really good cover, and then you can get it up on the balcony as well, just from this box. So you get to really, that's a strong power position of a place to drop it. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is where you're gonna, like, as Viper, you're gonna want to try to use your line out of. The other one that's available as well is from like B lobby over to on top of these rafters. It's just not as strong, but it is helpful. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little discussion of all kinds of different strategical thought processes and stuff like that, and just things to kind of theory craft with and think about. But the biggest thing is really the way that angles play into the map structure and the environment that you're in and things like that. And I'll probably make more content based around this kind of stuff as I can explain it a little bit better and have more scenarios. The other thing that would be super helpful is a theater system. So if that ever comes around, I'll definitely be able to break down some stuff and explain it in a way like that. Nice, Matt. Yeah, I mean the game is down right now, so I was gonna originally turn it off my stream and just chill, but I kind of jumped into the practice range, and then I think somebody asked a question, and it just kind of led to one thing, led to another, and I just kind of went on a rant, and then we talked about some strategical stuff. So I could try to go to like other maps and see what lines there are. I don't know if I necessarily want to do all that stuff. The thing to keep in mind about this is the location of that box, how it's A-sided but near mid, and that should be your good helpful tip for like if you go to other. Let's see what happens if we go to another map and just see if we can just see. Like I'm curious on bind, and that was on offense. So let's go here. I don't know. It could just be server maintenance for all I know.
No one can hold their breath forever.
Now, in theory, you should be able to see You might be able to
The
use
lies
the
we've
same
told the
box
city.
for Sova,
Just to pry it open and suck it dry.
but there's gonna probably be some other visual cues or some
Someone
other
get the
things
spike.
that you're gonna want to tune into. So this is a bit different. You know, this is interesting because this box is here for multiple reasons, but I am curious to see what kind of line of sight you can get out of this. I was gonna anticipate it to be like on a short side, but near market. But since this is here, I'm just gonna see what is available. I usually sometimes will you know very easily Sova dart up and over these trees. You just can't get it inside of the tree, but oh yeah. So from here you can. I almost want to place that, but I don't want to have to restart the match. I'm very interested to see if there's a line of sight on heaven there. But what you can do, let's see. You don't even have to be on the box. These are some interesting lines right here because if you look at the mini map, what that's going to do is that's going to give you access to U-Haul, and the way that you get control on A is going to be through the mixture of pressure from this
Here.
and controlling this room.
Here.
So when you get this
Here.
line of sight, you now control the
Here.
backside of these boxes, and you can peek into heaven, and then you also have space for teammates to fill
Here.
in through here. You know what I mean? So it just clears this side out, and these are. If you were to think of this map as lines going across, like I wish I had a way to draw lines on here, but this right here, that's a line, you know, and then here's an even stronger line, and then heaven's even stronger than that, and then it's a grid. The maps are created on a grid, and but what's
30
interesting is
seconds left.
they're kind of oh no, oh yeah, there we go. They're kind of skewed in a way. Like it's definitely a grid, but because of angling on the map, it's it's a grid, but it's also a triangle. Like the top of the triangle would almost be. I haven't specified it yet, but it almost feels like it's here, like, and then it goes out this way because as you enter in B on CT side, this is the weakest
Here.
entry that you have. It's very funneled. You have all of
Here.
these angles to
Here.
funnel into this,
Here.
you know,
Here.
into that door, and then, but you can sneak through. But that's why entering in that way takes a very long time to, retake B. But the strongest entry into B again
Here.
is going to be hookah, because you've got line of sight here. You
Here.
can clear here through
Here.
here and have a little bit more safety. B long is also very good too. But if you don't, the difficult aspect of B long is going from
Here.
here to here, and that's why you go hookah instead. Most cases, not all the time, but because once you feel like you can clear this angle
Here.
from B long, you can check
Here.
this angle, and you have to be
Here.
careful there
Careful.
and there, but most importantly
Careful.
here too, because a player
Here.
sitting right in here is going to have the line. This line, like you can actually see it on the map. This little
Here.
from there to there, that's the line that's difficult to cross coming in from B long because you've got multiple things. Now it doesn't make these parts of the map obsolete. You know what I mean? Like it's just scenario based, but you know how you see a lot of people they panic rotate from A
Here.
through CT
Here.
back this way. That's only good if you're trying to be sneaky, but if you need pressure, if you need to alleviate pressure on B site, I would not recommend that being your route. I'd recommend teleporting or having a flank, but this takes a
Here.
long time. These are sharp corners to
Here.
clear. There could be people hiding in all
Here.
kinds of
Here.
like nooks and stuff, and you know
Here.
here, and you can even have someone. It's gonna get real nerdy. I would not. That's gonna eat up a lot of your time on a rotation, you know. So again, it's not obsolete. Like you have sometimes uses for it, but truthfully, coming out the TP and
Here.
clearing the TP
Here.
properly by going to
Here.
the exits and stuff like that
Here.
can be good. You can also mess with the idea of throwing an ability prior to opening up the teleport. There was something that I did one time that opened the door. Oh, this was cool, and I actually did it with Viper. I can show this.
My ultimate is ready.
So I was in here like this, and I threw this like that, and opened the door. And the reason why that is that is an extremely strong thing, because her ready time for that Q post throw is not doesn't take very long, and it's not like if you're Phoenix and you do that with your Molotov or the Molly. Now you don't have it to heal yourself, but because I just got the chills. Because you're Viper, you don't want to stand inside that anyways. So, it's just a Cypher Cage. That's another good one. So this is a really good play, and the reason why this is great is because it opens the door, but it doesn't put you so far out that you're exposed to this angle,
Here.
this angle, this angle,
Here.
this angle, all at once, and
Here.
or even here. So it gives you this cover and lets you walk on your own time and advance at a certain, it gives you a window to work with without exposing yourself. The difficult aspect of leaving hookah is the fact that you have to get close enough to the door to open it, which brings you into this area where your body is shown, and before you can collect any information, So that's like a thing to think about, and a really cool play that I happened to do one time by accident as Viper, and really I picked up on that instantaneously. I learned that. This is the spot that I was interested in seeing what walls are possible here. This is another good one, I think, because you can block U-Haul vision and back CT. But I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. Also, if there's any of this information that you've enjoyed, feel free to go back in the rebroadcast or just create a clip, so that you can share it with someone that you know or something like that. But I would argue that this is one of the strongest, if not the strongest wall that you can get on here. I guess you could technically. I don't think. I think right here. These are really good. This is a super strong spot.
Here.
Blocking vision from here gives more space for showers. Denying this allows you to, obviously they can still spray, but if they do, you can just throw the poison or something to persuade them from going into poking and challenging there, and that gives you a lot more time to clear pocket and to clear heaven and to just open up this line of sight. So super good. Anyone can clip during a live stream. I have my rebroadcast set as a subscriber thing because my streams are valuable. We go over a lot of good information and it's worth being a sub. So, what's up, Fizzor? How's Valorant going? It's going really well, man. I don't know if maintenance is done, but I'm just chilling, talking about strategy. All right, so now if we take our theory about the map design structure, this is the same box that I was standing on Split. If you're gonna lay it down in terms of design process and design goals, if you're gonna because every game that is making a game, they have design goals, and multiplayer games like this, when you're doing map design, have consistent themes and which are very very similar. And once you start to dig into this stuff, you'll actually start to see how every map is really just about the same. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, no problem, Matt. I'm actually really enjoying doing this. So, but this is I have never tested this before. We're gonna see what we can get towards B side from this box. But from A, that I think that's a perfect wall. I really like that one. It just allows a lot. You obviously have the shot on heaven, but that's why you can pop out a few people at you can go one
Here,
wide, one close kind of thing
here,
here back here in this cubby like it's tight. But then you also
here,
have this pressure too, and this is where how that really applies
here,
because you're gonna both focus this together. And if you're clearing
here,
bath, you want to be like right where I just pinged,
here,
like something like this, so that if this guy is on the box, he either has to spray through the wall, which you have to be very aware of. He has to swing on you, or he just sits there and does nothing because he's afraid of exposing himself because his exit is
here,
very, very difficult. Unless he's Omen, Omen can
here,
port across. You got to be aware of that. But a player here has a very
here,
difficult time leaving this place. So you can kind of leave them there for a little bit more time and make them like a secondary priority as long as you're managing that well, which is really, really cool. All right, let's go ahead and see if I'm a little nervous to do this because I've never done it, and we'll just see if we'll see what we get. Okay, I think it's gonna be this guy right here. Maybe a little bit, something like that. So this allows you to leave hookah, and it cuts off B site, which gives you access and time to clear
here,
here and here for your B long teammates. So they're not as like this is
here,
less threatening, this
here,
is less threatening, and that's a really big win for someone on as you're pushing B long, because that allows them to depending on your timing, depending on the situation, but allows them to swing into
here,
here and
here,
clear this out. And once you start to get
here,
control of the elbow, this is a
here,
little risky here, but if you're, if you, so let's say you run a sage or something, you can just
here,
wall this off, and that gives you some leeway to work with. And then you can really be like, dude, I mean, you could do all kinds of creative stuff. You could put a wall
here,
here, then you can move
here,
two of your teammates up to this wall and wait for the advance, and then you could even
here,
drop like your hookah players down into here. So you've got, let's say, 4 players in this little pocket, and the wall drops, and these
here,
players swing this way,
here,
while the others push here and up
here,
and over the box, and you just take a fluid, like just take of the point in very nice, like everyone's watching different angles, but also supporting each other within that time, and as like
here,
this swings, this
here,
guy pushes up, and this guy swings around, and you will surround this box site and flush it out and clear it. And that is a clean execution of like sweeping B, and then maybe you
here,
slow that or whatever, throw a molly on the door, whatever you got to do. But that's a like real clean way into B, and then you've got multiple different ways to try and hold it and defend it from there as well. But that's all into you can then move your
here,
Viper Q, like my smoke thing that you throw. You can put that in that doorway, and now you've got that as utility, and I mean that's just really strong. So from this box, and look at this,
here,
you block portal. So let's say halfway through the point, you've got someone holding
here,
right here, kind of thing, or
here,
nearby. Then you hear the port, up goes the wall, and now you've got this guy
here,
to be some difficult stuff. You
here,
got to be tricky if he sneaks into here, but you're controlling the map really well, and it's really cool. So it's you can use this wall for multiple different things, but this from this location, you're gonna get your 2 highest value walls that you can potentially get because you've got this one, and we explained that already, and then you've got uh, right here. So this is going to require your team to understand what you're doing and utilize it and really coordinate it. But I'm really looking at this from a professional perspective, not just a random perspective. But just know that this is equally as valuable at any level because we're talking geometry of the map, not reading like the player, you know, you're playing to something that is not going to change. You can't alter this map design. So no matter what someone does, they're still confined within these boundaries, and this gives you an upper edge, you know, to really do some cool stuff. Right now we're in gold, googly, but I'm just taking my time, enjoying the game. um, there was something else I want to touch on. Hmm. I think we covered a lot, but there was something else that kind of went. I kind of thought about. These are really good. I'm interested to see. Let's try this. Let's see, because this is all theory, you know, but it's well thought out theory. So just so you know, you can't hold this and aim. You have to literally. So the thing that I'm looking at is this box right here, and then you can check your line on the portal. But I would suggest getting it a little to the right hand side like that. And let's see how she does. Another factor is time. You're gonna like something that takes a second to place, you know. But these are not designed for. You're not gonna run out the gate. You're gonna give it a second.
Toxins going up.
Okay, so there's definitely a little space there, but I can't really test the inside. This is cool because it gives you that, you know, check out like just over this. You can just barely see in there.
Screen down.
It also, I'm sure when it comes up here, I'm very curious. Is this an angle? I think it is. You know, look at that. I mean, you're definitely exposed, but like you can kind of catch someone off guard if they're only looking at that. The other neat thing is that if a player is let's see if you're a player hiding in this, you're gonna have to be very aware, because sometimes this is a great spot to just sit as B side is being taken. Another great spot to just sit as B side is being taken is right here. And these are some of your two corners that you're just like, last resort, I'm just going to try to aim and see what we get. But I'm very interested to see if their vision is So you can, I would opt to swing this out a little bit so that they get something like this where they just can't see. But you got to be careful. This is probably really good. Maybe like literally, if I had to be a perfectionist, maybe like to right here, to where enough to where their body cannot hide behind it, so that you don't get thrown off. But like this will mess up. That's perfect actually, dude. Unless they're, you know, they're like this, but then you can still see them. But if I was hugging the corner, I mean, that's
screen down.
What kind of vision are you gonna get, you know? Really, really cool stuff. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to show and talk about is Sage on this map, and something that I did. I want to see. Let's go into the portal.
Toxin screen down.
Zan's playbook. This is a Fizz crafted.
Toxins going up.
There was definitely inspiration from you, Zan, though. So there's space here, you know, but you're gonna have a really good heads up with the whole port time. And if you're playing hookah to defend from this, this is a great side to do it from in this type of scenario, because this wall is thick. It's gonna give you something good to block your face from long angles, and you can cut this in here a little bit. But you know, there's definitely things to. I don't know. You can play around that though. It's not impossible. Definitely makes it a lot better. Yeah, that one's a good one. Here, I want to show you guys something on stage that I haven't seen other people do either, and I ended up doing it, and it was it was freaking awesome.
I am both shield and sword. I wasn't strong enough before, But now I am strong enough for us all. My ultimate is ready. We need the spike for our mission.
Not today. So one of the topics on stage, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can talk about her, but one of the things that you want to make as a goal is to create a jungle gym of locations to move around and navigate through, and a way to have a wall but not always be in a predictable location, because you have an area of space to traverse that can alter someone's angle or position that they have to be in to even see you, you know. So this is something that I did on defense. I was playing Sage on B, and there was a lot of them, and I was playing from like right here, because this is definitely a strong spot. As they make a push, it's easy to get overrun, right? But we heard hookah, we heard a lot hookah, and we heard a lot long. So I tucked in here, and then I did something like this, where I like, you know, maybe turned it a little bit, just a little bit, and went ahead and did that. And now that's gonna block this shot as these people push. So, and I just like dinked the guys that jumped out of hookah, like, you know, right away. The other thing is that I think I had the wall closer to me, but you can now navigate around like this and do all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, check this out. This guy's not gonna expect that, you know. You got all kinds of things that you can be up here, you can play here, you can now extend outward to here to catch this guy off guard at certain different locations, and you've created this jungle gym of stuff. You can drop back down, you can use your wall, you can go over here, you can use this, and that's what a good wall is going to look like, is giving you multiple options. Yeah, you want to be close enough to where you can jump without your knife, so that you don't have to switch to that, you know. So this is a very, very cool underutilized thing, and this comes from the timer. This comes from understanding map geometry and things that I was talking to you guys about before, and now I've added my own wall like you would, but this isn't the most basic understanding of a wall. This is like I would say this is a really advanced wall, because you've got a lot to work with off of it, you know. So take that one, hold on to it. It's a good tip, good one to use. The other one that's a good location that is probably underutilized. And another thing you can do is block off these sections. These are really good to be blocked, because they really funnel things. But you've got this guy right here, and you could do here, but I prefer something like this, or even I prefer something like this. So you definitely have to be careful of U-Haul. It gives you an option to still enter U-Haul. It gives you an option to kind of play in a different. This is very similar to the Heavens location if you look at your height. And now that I'm looking at this, I think something more along these lines could be an option as well, because now you've got a deeper angle, but you've also got showers. You've got here, and if you need to cover, you move to here. You know what I mean? So this is a really neat. You're up on there. You can get up on here. Stop the bomb defuse. Get into the cubby. If it's the last player alive, and this one takes a little bit to set up because of the orientation of it, but but anything like that will kind of do, and you can just kind of play with it. But if this guy's the last guy alive, you know, and you want to mess with him, I mean, this is strong U-Haul control in a way, because like you're up off the ground, you're up here, and you've got this nice line of sight on there, and then you can also watch over here. It can be a little weak, but you got to really know what side this guy's coming from. But it's really pretty good. The other option, I don't know if I can make this jump. Yeah, I didn't think so. But you can you can go around if you want to catch him off guard, or if you or you can play up on the wall and get that nice line of sight in there. That gives you what that does is that condenses what the angles are that this map is, that A side of this map is designed around and built around, and it gives you access to all of them in one thing. And that is why this is strong, is because you get the same you get almost debatably a better angle, but it's relatively the same angle that you would get from inside heaven. You get here, so you get this access to U-Haul. Like I said, you get access to the short, but you get it from a slightly different location, so it's a little bit, it'll throw somebody off from heaven. You get you know, top box here. You have to work this position, like really know how to work this and time your wall well so that it doesn't expire on you. So there's definitely a skill set for you to be able to execute on this properly, but as you can see, the potential for it is really nice. You've got this up off the ground showers look, which is really really good for, you know, as you're coming around showers. One of the hardest angles to clear is right here, because it's just like you're in it at that point, you know, because the wall is so thin. So once this fight happens, you can just transfer towards the wall. So again, some really 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 cool stuff. There was one other point that, oh yeah, so also if you're trying to kill heaven and you've gotten some pressure up into here, and you, let's say that U-Haul is like covered or pushed back or whatever, this is the dirtiest line of sight onto heaven from here without using walls or whatever, because it's just a real clean. You get to be, your elevation doesn't change, it's not going to mess you up, you know, because here your elevation is adjusting with all this. So you're you know, it's not awful, but this is real, like. And then you've got a good cover to block off this for a little bit. You know, you can definitely still get shot through, but you've got options, and you can even do like all kinds of stuff. But these little boxes are really well designed, you know. So utilize those things. These angles are good, and but they're difficult to get out of. So as you advance in here, like this is strong, but then also it's also weak, because you have to worry about here, you have to worry about here, you have to worry about here, you have to worry about here. So if they get adequate pressure to hold you in here, it's going to be difficult to time this well and get yourself out of there. Because if I'm going to be pressuring this player and we know that he's the last guy, I'm not going to commit to anything. I'm just going to toy with him as much as I can, you know what I mean? Like, you can sit here for a long time and then let your teammate pick up some of the pressure, and then you pop, you know? So, like if someone starts spraying through here, or just getting some pressure onto that, you know, then you can pop across. Or the other thing too is, like, you know, this isn't the worst. This is definitely a very strong shot, because but pressure from here and here would probably be the most difficult, because you have to go for both. But it's definitely a very strong shot. But like I said, it's hard to get out of. A molly into this location is very very easy to do from short A, you know, up and over the box into here, and then you have to move. Then you're moving, and then that's when this player here goes, you know. So it's kind of all kinds of ways to put your opponent into a difficult situation. It's like checkmate type deal, you know, or you're putting them into check. It's chess. This is also a really good spot. I have a clip of one of my more recent clips on Twitter and on my Instagram. Comes from this location, because you're forcing the guy from heaven to not only drop, be worrisome of here, 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 behind this box, this location, but then also here. And if he wants to check this, he's going to have to swing his back to do it. So there's a lot of that'll be one of the later angles that he's going to check, because of the exposedness that he's there. But if you look at the design of this, if he swings and checks that, these boxes are right there to kind of block that. So it's really well designed in a way. Like, this gives that player just a little bit of cover, but if you really swing out this far, you're gonna be wide open. So it's just adds to the strength of this location, you know. Depends on the scenario, you know, because like sometimes I peek long. Like it really depends on the skill gap that you're going against, to be honest, and what you have to work with. A lot of times in solo queue, I will try to get an early pick to set the tempo of the round in our favor. Things to like here's the thing. When you come to here, you can clear this line from, look at that, my line of sight, you know what I mean? So when you start your round, you can go into here. It depends. All different kinds of timing windows, you know, like what are you expecting? So I usually like to clear out this way, but it's risky and sometimes I don't. If they start to really, like, I'll try to trade out, you know what I mean, if I have to. But then one of my favorite spots to hold is right here, because you're gonna catch someone off guard right as they enter hookah. Boom. You know what I mean? You are open from here, so you know you can choose to wall that if you'd like. It doesn't save you 100% because I think if they back around that wall, you know, you can get there, but it will buy you a little bit of time. This is what's nice though, is you have a cross angle from like here, or someone playing box, but they can get sprayed through. You apply, you do it as a duo, you know what I mean? Like you hold two of these together. So you apply the strength of this line from here, and how it helps cover you the further this guy goes back. But the further this guy goes back, the weaker his location becomes from being able to get back and prevent them from pushing forward. Because if you apply that theory all the way, now you've given them all of B for free, you know what I mean? So and if you go too far forward up, then you just have to be aware that your garden isn't covered. So it's just, that's why like playing off of your teammate is really good. I like to play here. Another one this is a really difficult shot, but it will give you a second because, you know, you just have to be really quick with it. You've got this height elevation, and it's going to throw somebody off when they come to check. They're going to be looking here, and then they're going to check here. And if you're real fast with it, you know, you can get that. But it's difficult. I haven't found the best use of that up there. You're just really exposed. But if you're playing off that cheeky shot, you know, it can work. The other thing too is like you can use this box to hold. This is really good for CT because it's just, again, a different line of sight. Like they're most fearful of like something like this. But if you're up on the box, they're not gonna see you here, and that's usually what people clear. So when they go to take that step, boom, they're dead. You know what I mean? So it's like usually people will clear this, and then maybe they see you, you know, but you're gonna see them by this point, and that's only if they're hugging the wall. Here's the difference: like when you're close up, your lines are much different in a way. Like that, it's the same line of sight, but it provides different escape and entry kind of thing. This is like a lot harsher, you know. You get both at the same time. But my point is that that's a strong way to catch someone off, because you just have to, again, have other players cover your other spots, either from, like, this is where I'd want to have somebody inside of hookah, you know, and cut that off, and then maybe a guy, you could even have a guy in this corner looking long, and now you've got the cross shots going on, and that allows players to swing and answer things like really well. Like if you've got someone here, and this guy can help hookah if they do like 3-man push hookah, or if they go huge on CT, you know. But what's neat is that this guy is not as exposed from CT as you would think, because they have to get through the top box first. So this player is going to have information that will keep this player alive, you know. So you get to do that in that fashion. So if you see a bunch, and let's say you're like, oh, you missed your shots, you just drop off. Now you've got the double box to play off of, and that gives this guy just enough time to just, you know, swing around and be a part of the fight, or do whatever he wants to do. But I would say like a location like right here is like really good for a Phoenix because they can just like this is a strong flashbang, you know, or something like that, and he gets good utilization of his wall if he wants to throw a firewall up that way, or even off this way, like off here. This is like a good way to do that as Phoenix because like you've got a little bit of that. You can even curve it around to give you this opening to be able to get up here, and you put your firewall, and then all of a sudden you're up here. You know what I mean? Like you've got a lot of utilization out of that little pocket as a Phoenix player. Yeah, I mean you can do the same thing here to be honest as well. Like you flick your flashbang and then drop down and make a play out that way because. Yeah, I don't know, they may just be assuming that you're on top of the box and now you're underneath, so there's like all kinds of little mind games that you can start to really play. And you could just wall from here to here. I'd say you get less value out of it, but you can maybe curve your wall this way and force them and then you can slide something over like this, you know what I mean, in certain scenarios. And now you're here and the wall is bent like that, you know. And then if you have a player in that corner, now you've got him in a pretty good pinch. But the danger side of doing something like that, and the reason why I think it's probably better played here is because you don't want to leave the player that's here have to worry about both of these at the same time. Now he can also just slide over and cut one off, but this is a much stronger shot in a way. So it's also, this is still really good, you know, but this guy on the front side of this box has a lot of control coming into that shot because they can adjust their elevation and do all kinds of stuff, you know, prior to taking the fight. So, but then again, it just comes down to hitting the shot at the right time. So you can do all kinds of different stuff. Whew. I think that kind of wraps it up for now in terms of all that I want to talk about, but it's fun. You have to go through a lot. I don't know what to do with all this. I put a few markers down. It really needs to be kind of edited and just really not heavily. Just clip up the good ones and mash them together and boom. Got ourselves a little video, you know. Oh my, dude. I would catch someone off like could you imagine if you're gonna read that they're gonna rotate and you're doing it within a time frame, bro. I just want to see what this looks like when you come around the corner. I'm gonna do it a little fast just to see it. If you didn't check that, or even if you looked here, you'd have to like snap up. If you were to creep it. I think that's still gonna, you can definitely flick and hit it. It's not impossible. But that would be hilarious. Yeah, one of my favorite walls is something like this.
Wall raised.
Because now you've got, it does very similar with the Viper wall that we were looking at would do. You still have access to this box. You can still even get a little vision there. Like jumping classic shots are really nice with this. But yeah. All right, I think we're done here. Oh, dude, yeah. Here's a one last thing. And I haven't really utilized it yet, but you can throw a slow orb from here and land it in front of the teleporter on a short by lining up with these pillars. Like if you look at, let's see, I'm gonna aim here and then draw. It's pretty much goes like, you can see the line almost. It goes straight across to the TP. So if you get like a slow orb right there by that box, it's really pretty good. I've done it. I did it first try that I went, and I don't, you know, without a buddy in there, you can't exactly see where to do. But if you use the top of this tower, you can kind of line up or some of these stuff, and you just kind of mid-aim there. But that's, I mean, you can be on B and slow down a push on A from there. So kind of wild. Yeah, I would play around those points that I was saying, Matt. The other one that you can utilize to throw somebody off is to play inside of here, you know. But and then you just would play the mind games of where you're gonna be. Something to take the note is that you have to jump to be on this, and it's pretty good. It's gonna elevate you a little bit, so you're more at head level because the weapon is being carried at your chest level. So that's why when you're walking around, you need to aim up just a little bit because you're aiming chest to chest naturally. So you need to aim up a little bit. So when you find little things like this, they're going to elevate you to be at head level. That's what the height of that is built to do, you know, like that's the design element of it, you know. Also, you'd be surprised how many times this little bit of elevation you'll probably still take a lot of damage from a raised nade, but sometimes it'll save your life if the nade lands over there. Or I've had them even land pretty close to that, and I you know, I got out with like a few HP, but I didn't die from it, you know. So, you get a little elevation change here. But you have to jump to get here. I just finally put this 2 and 2 together. Feels weird not standing on top. You can stand up top here, but this is so tucked in and committed, and this angle is almost a little rough for you. But I think this is the line that you really want. You also get to see you like stop them from there, and yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. Like, it's risky because you're out there and you're bringing the fight to them per se. But notice how as you go forward, this becomes thinned up, and you can then play on this, you know. So, all good spots, all good stuff there. Cool. That's fun. We got pretty deep into all kinds of different stuff that you don't really see. That you don't really see spoken about or talked about, and I mean, one, because not too many people are doing strategy videos for this game yet, and two, a lot of people don't really understand map design on the level that I do. So it's pretty neat to be able to see that, you know, you could spend all day trying to find all these little Viper walls, but I showed you two of the highest value ones that you're ever going to get. I would arguably say those are the highest value walls on the map, even though there are probably a few others that are pretty good. You're not going to get as much value out of as the ones that I showed you. So those are good. You can do those every round. You just got to pick A or B what you want. And even if you don't go there, you can still apply. You can still fake it like you're going there. So there's tons of things to play around. Yo, we got a Brave ad. This is we just earned some BAT. Let's see if it goes up. There it goes. I use Brave browser. If you guys want to check it out, !Brave in the chat. It'll give you my referral link, and they have Brave rewards in here. So anytime I have it enabled when you're just using the browser. It doesn't work when you're in a full screen game. I did send them the creator of it like a thing. As a gamer, I would love to be able to collecting rewards while I'm just in full screen gaming, and then maybe view all the ads. But it has built-in ad block, and it's fantastic. And blocks trackers and ads and all kinds of stuff. And it's a really great browser. But what you can do is opt into the rewards program that will deliver ads to your thing at, you know, I have it set to max is like 5 ads per hour if you're just using your browser, if you're just watching Twitch or doing whatever. And then they pay you in a token called Basic Attention Token. It's very similar to a cryptocurrency. And at the end of the month, then they transfer this into an electronic wallet that you own, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can keep it as BAT. You can buy things in BAT. You can transfer it into United States currency. You can transfer it into cryptocurrency, which is what I do. I transfer it directly into Bitcoin, and then I'm gaining Bitcoin at the end of every month just from using my web browser. So it's absolutely amazing, and I really recommend it. You can do !Brave in my Twitch channel, and it'll give you directly to the referral link, and that really helps me out because they pay me in BAT for anyone that decides to start using this. I'm also a verified content creator with them. It does have mobile support. Yep, you can use. They have a mobile app. I have that. You can collect rewards on the mobile app. One of the other cool things is that on other sites like Twitter and Twitch, you can donate BAT directly to you. So let's see here. If I go click on the home, see, like if I really liked Summit's stream or Summit's, even if I liked Summit, or I like Summit's tweet, you can click on this and tip him directly however much you want in tokens, which are equate to US dollars, at a certain point. So, and you can do that on YouTube. You can do that on Twitch. This is a bug right now. If you click on this and you are in Brave, it should say that I'm a verified user, and then you can send me BAT that way or whatever. So it's a really cool way to tip the content creators that you like with currency that you're earning, and you're not having to actually shell out anything out of your own pocket in a way other than just like a few seconds of your time, because the thing pops up down here. It's just an ad. You click on it, new tab pops up with the ad in it. It loads, you close it, and then you've gotten some more BAT. So it's really really cool. The creator of it was like the either creator or co-creator was very hands-on in creating Firefox and the whole Mozilla stuff. So I think he was the creator of that as well. And they've got some really really neat stuff going into the future, and I think it's a web browser that you'll really like. Google Chrome leaves you very exposed, and this is like your computer and your information and the stuff that you're looking at and all that kind of stuff. This is a much safer browser and a better one to use, so I really recommend it for that. But yeah, that's really neat. I'll probably tag this at the end of the video that I'm gonna compile some of the strategy stuff that we've been talking about and put that all together, and this will probably be the end of that video. So if you've enjoyed the content that you've been watching, definitely check out some of my social media stuff. It'll be in the description. Leave a comment, share this with a friend. Just say hello, do something. Let me know that you enjoyed it and that you like this kind of stuff. Cool.